got POM.
Yeah.
Even in the next series, struggled a lot. But
He did.
it's those inconsistencies are both top laners that has left both of these teams worried. And we'll see how the performance looks today. I don't know if topside's where the attention's going to go, though.
I'm kind of hoping not, and maybe Doran doesn't need it, as I think the record to beat is 4 solo kills in a row in that top side of the map. We'll see whether he can actually get that, or whether Rich has built up some form. But this is what we're talking about. The Bard is going to be banned, and this time it's going to be Kium DRX that are taking it away. Understandable against Carrier, as there is the Karma leaving as well. T1 did that thing where they left up their good champions and gave them to the enemy.
It was not good for them to have that.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't do that again.
They took away the Varus. So if Kium DRX do not ban the Pantheon here, it could be a Rumble Pantheon trade, but see what they do, because it ends up being kind of interesting. If they ban Pantheon, then T1 will ban Rumble, and we'll go down that line.
Or T1 will ban Jarvan.
Well, the Jarvan...
They just don't like banning...
you only do this against T1, by the way, the banning the Azir. And pretty much everybody's doing it, as we're going to trade the mid laners, so both the Rumble and the Pantheon are up, but T1 get 2 picks here, so they can get, you know, Rumble Vi, for example, or... oh my god.
Oh my lord.
Well, this is the weight of lazy feel.
But also... T1 just don't like picking Rumble, I guess, because they let it go all the way through to like B5 in their series against DK. So, will they pick it here?
What if you just go Rise Pantheon and call it a day?
You could definitely do that. Or you could just go Rumble Pantheon and also call it a day. And then the Anivia's up, and Faker picks that into the Rise that turns up.
I think
the
Rumble
win for free
is the right call. And I think Vi is great into Ezreal, and Rumble Vi is very...
Pantheon. Pantheon's still up, Wolf.
I mean, both are fine. Rumble Vi is...
It is a classic.
It's a longer engage range if you charge your Q and then, you know, press R and hit the Ezreal. But the Pantheon ultimate is like the longest engage range, technically. So both are great. Or... Owner's just like, I picked my favorite. I like this one.
He is pretty good.
It's also a better matchup into the potential Jarvan that we could still see here.
It also wins 1v1s against Pantheon as well if you find him in the jungle, as there is a Rise to be picked up here by UCal. Do we lock in a bottom lane? I guess theoretically you do, as the Anivia is the pickup.
Ezreal Anivia blind.
Yeah, and I mean, the Anivia could be going top lane.
That's true. There's no Karma. There's no Bard. There's no Nico. I actually think this is a pretty good... I mean, they could, but I do think this is a nice setup for an Ezreal and Anivia lane, because there's just not a lot of answers that just dunk on it. You know, we saw a lot of attempts, including from Carrier, to win into said lanes. That did not work, as Faker is going to pull out TF.
It's kind of cute. You can follow the Rise very effectively, and it now gives you a pretty clear 1v1 opportunity. And Twisted Fate has found a fair bit of success here. Obviously, we've been seeing Showmaker play it a lot, and he is kind of the Twisted Fate guy. But Faker was playing it before him. Kind of like he was playing everything before everyone.
I really love when you play Twisted Fate into squishy supports, because, again, assuming this Anivia is going to support.
But even squishy top lane is kind of fine as well.
You're just like, okay, well, he's trying to ward. Sorry, it's not allowed, you're dead. And the Pantheon ban makes a lot of sense. Not going to allow the Rise Pantheon to go through. The priority in this draft has been wild, but we are still respecting later some of these stronger picks.
And they can ban Pantheon Jarvan, and then Willa has to go to the second rung of the tier list junglers. And Ona kind of gets away with this Xin Zhao scot-free, unless he gets Kha'Zix'd, which is a thing.
Doesn't Kium need to ban Ashe, I would say? Ashe Seraphine's still a good lane into Ezreal Anivia.
It's true.
Or Ezreal plus question mark, but
I haven't seen question mark very often, but Yunara is going to be the man instead.
About Yunara Lulu.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if there's an answer, like if they just flex this Anivia into the Rumble matchup topside to Ashe Seraphine that we're not thinking about, like Ezreal Yuumi? I don't think so.
You're a little bit worried about seeing that one. Still wouldn't mind a Lulu lock-in, to be honest.
I think those are the real options, right? Seraphine or Lulu.
What does FaZe do?
He's like, Lucian Nami, lock it in.
Well, Jhin. That makes me feel sad.
I don't really like that much here, but there is a lot of upfront between the Xin Zhao and the Twisted Fate that's going to get on top of somebody and stun them. And Jarvan made it all the way through.
Yeah, so J4 over to Willa. And then we decide where the Anivia is going. Obviously, they kept the support pick up in the air, and it's Carrick, so he can kind of play everything. It's not going to be Lulu, though. Lulu Jin is just not very good.
There's no way it's like the Ego Pike game, right? They're just like, yeah, no, we
run it back.
No, we can run it back. I don't think so. But there's not any ranged supports. Is it Jin Seraphine?
Jin Sona. Jin Janna.
Jin Janna, I'm kind of with that one, actually. That one I'm kind of a little bit interested in, but
that'd be fun.
Carry is going to do something weird.
I hope so.
Or just play Blitzcrank, which is also kind of weird.
Ooh, but kind of fun.
Okay.
Camille. Sometimes you just pick Camille. So I guess we're in that arc. The arc area where he just wants to play strange things.
I remember when Camille support was
Rumble
going around.
support.
Do you remember that game?
Rumble support? Rumble support.
Nah.
Dude, fire beats ice. Have you not played Pokemon before?
Yeah, I did.
So you just burn the ice bird.
Yeah, it's kind of melted.
Yeah.
But then stay away from the water that's going to appear. And
I remember that like 2 patches where Rumble support was a thing.
Do you remember like the one patch where it was going around Camille support and then Delight was like, I'm a lock, and we were all like, oh, and then he went like 0 and 4. We were like, never again.
Yeah, never. And then I feel like we didn't see it again. It was just patched out and done. And Delight's like, I'm glad everyone forgot about that. Carrier did find a little bit of success, I believe, in the small amount of time that we did have the Camille support. And I believe we've seen it already this season as well.
It's very good into Ezreal. I really like this pick into Ezreal. It's got a lot of lane power. I can trade aggressively. You have the Jin, so it's a powerful 2v2. But if you mess it up, you know, I mean, you can do some funky stuff with hookshot around the Anivia, but you mess up the lane, you get caught, you lose it. I don't know if this comp actually walks out alive.
Yeah. You were talking about T1 walking a tightrope in their last matchup. Well, they're back at it again. Let's see how their balance is as we get into the rift for game number 1. All right. No one knew what to call Game DRX in that fan chant, and I like it. It was just chaos.
Is, if I'm reading this correctly, okay, it is Carrier's 4th game of Camille support. He's 1 and 2.
Okay. We can even up the scoreline. 4th game, and he's playing with a Jin? Coincidence? Probably.
Yeah, I think just a coincidence.
Yeah. He probably does.
This is a good lane. It's a good 2v2 here. Yeah. If you can find the right hookshot angles. There's number 1.
Hey, he's certainly found an angle, as the Ignite is already down as well.
That's a way to burn the ice. There you go.
Yeah. What would you like it, poached or scrambled, Wolf?
Well, he's got that Halo Blades, which lets him attack quickly and then press the D button to light the enemy on fire.
Well, he does go for another one, as Andel's almost down to his egg already. This, okay, the Camille support, I guess, is just Pike support with a few extra steps.
Or a few fewer
steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about steps.
Camille is like, I'm not stepping, I'm flying! And Pike's kind of doing a little floating.
Yeah.
Neither of them are really stepping, actually, on second thought.
That was weird.
Couldn't quite reach this time. Now, level 2 is here. Rondo walls at the right time and sets up a stun. There's a lot of damage in this Ezreal, but Owner is coming down. That ward is down.
The Demacians are going to meet, as Willer is discovered immediately. I think KMDRX probably wanted to use this as a bit of a respite game on this bottom side, but it's unable to happen as Owner and Willer are just going to fight one another. Flag and Drag does come in order to get Willer out of there, but that is Owner winning the territorial engage.
He does indeed do that. And it looks like it's just going to be a back here for Keria. And he'll head straight back to the lane. I see that. He's heading mid, actually. Ooh. With Owner coming up as well.
And it's going to be a late back here for Andel as well. So he's going to get there earlier. There's the gold card connecting, but Yukal does have Ghost. So he will be able to get himself out. Still, he's going to have to back. And now that he doesn't have, you know, his Ghost available, does have Home Guard in order to get back to this lane, but You can see Faker just trying to push this one out as quickly as possible. He'd already teleported after he got that refillable, but he's going to be in even better standing now. And he's a Twisted Fate, right? So you just naturally are going to be ahead.
I kind of feel like the way this draft has gone is Kiwom are like, we know what we like to play. We know some of our strengths and weaknesses. We put Rich on Cassante as a... I'm going to hold my tongue on this for a moment. Zakaria is lurking with Hookshot at the ready.
They are not allowed to face check that brush. And it looks like they're not going to, as Rich. On the Cassante, this has been okay. There is the Hookshot. Deadly Flourish will be avoided, as Andil does find the stun at least. Still, T1 are having a very good time.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say about the draft is it feels like Lazy feels like, all right, give him my favorite. You know, I want to play Israel. We're going to first pick that. It's a fairly safe pick. UCal's on the rise. They got the Jarvan. Rich is like, I'm going to be stable up here. I promise on Cassante. It's a tough matchup in a Rumble. And we got the basics down, whereas they actually did this advanced tutorial where it's like, oh, you got to play against Twisted Fate, Jin Camille. They got Rumble. So it is, it's a little bit tougher than the basic, you know, we're going to play what we like to play kind of draft here. And T1 has the finesse comp. They have the comp that really only they play. You know, you could argue D+ plays this style a little bit, but this is very much a T1 playing both comfort, but also unusual picks in this meta. And it can sometimes be something that catches you off guard. Like Andil, relatively younger player here in terms of age in the LCK, has been around for a while now, but hasn't seen the same success, nowhere near Keria. In fact, most supports could wish they were like half as close to the success of Keria. But my point is, he's probably like, all right, let me learn Anivia for this season. I can master that. And then it's like, oh, by the way, Camille Jin Lane. Maybe played that one before. He's like, oh, I mean, once or twice.
Yeah, let me have a look at my notebook, shall I?
It's a little rough.
Well, UCal trying to sidestep some of these wildcards, does a decent job. As I think just in a general scrap with UCal being in range, you're probably going to be able to win that DPS race. But Faker should be able to start clearing out waves pretty comfortably. Just sitting on a Sapphire Crystal right now on top of his Doran's Ring, so not going to be doing crazy amounts of damage. Zandil not going to get caught by that Deadly Flourish. Pays missed a couple of those. No harm, no foul. Carrier will get himself out of there. And Pays looking for a target for this fourth bullet. It's going to be a cannon.
Always worth. As Owner once again going to make a pass down here at the bottom lane. Willer is not here this time.
There's the hook shot. Does manage to find the stun onto Lazyfield, but immediately they look for Andil, who has to flash.
It does not want to get egged right there. There is no way out. So a good flash there. Even though he had his passive, it was not going to do him a whole lot of good. And they made us go for a second setup here with the wave crashing. Andil is super low. Even just getting the egg would be massive. As Pays got his fourth shot.
Yep, they're looking for the angle here. There it is. Faker now making his way down as well as the Destiny Gate does come on through. The egg lasted about 0.2 of a second. And they just dropped the turret aggro so comfortably.
And Willer just can't really make a play here to try to save this. I mean, Lazyfield has flash, but there's 4 T1 members here. And UCal, even if he realm warps in, it's just too much of a risk because they could just turn on him and kill him because Lazyfield can't join. He's going to come over here with Willer, though, and start this dragon up while T1 are backing after the dive. Owner, very well aware of this, does have a ward in the Drake pit, but I don't think he can stop this. So the exchange is, got egg, got a kill, but we'll lose dragon as we'll watch this again. Andil, watch this egg. You mentioned he dies basically instantly. Pays is holding his shot, holding his shot, holding his shot. Bam. Goodbye. That was crazy.
It was. And the turret really wasn't interested in killing T1 players that dive as well. Really beautifully juggled by T1. So Mountain Dragon does go over to KMDRX. That is a good thing, as Faker is a little susceptible to the Anivia. And Keria is looking for the flash stun, does not get it. Still, Andil is looking a little worse for wear. Willer will turn up, though. And in the meantime, Owner is taking the enemy red buff. Rune Prison does come down. Keria is very, very dead. Just doesn't have a lot of ways out.
Owner could try to look for a crescent guard angle.
Oh, wait a second. If they had visions, they would kill him.
I don't think they realize, and Owner is not going to try to see if he can get lucky, because he might have been able to, you know, maybe catch Andil there, but limited information, so
yep.
Just to see how that. He does not help his support in the mid lane, but this is actually just Faker greeting a little bit for this plate, gets walled. Great sidestep from Faker on the Q. And then Keria actually utilizes the wall here in such a great way to close the gap. He just doesn't have the damage yet. And Willer shows up, and Faker is like, all I got's one card for you, Keria. There's too much CC. There's nothing else Faker can do.
Yeah, Willa in the right place at the right time, and that stun missing on Andal was problematic there for T1, but I think regardless of whether that hit or not, I think that with the man advantage, things were going to be good for KMDRX. So that's going to even out the kill score. Unfortunately, it doesn't really help as far as the gold advantage is concerned. Having a look here, it is Doran having a pretty good time on that top side, but as Rich builds towards his Rook Urn, he's going to be feeling better and better. As soon as that Spectre Scowl comes in, that's when the Cassante really starts to have a better time. I won't say good time, but a better time.
Is the Camille just the counter pick? Because if the wall goes up, she's just like, see ya, and just jumps over and stuns
you. Also just get to put Ezreal in a cage that you cannot get out of.
That's the main thing, but I'm thinking about the Anivia more after watching that mid play. Like, actually, Carrier might have some...
You can just use it as a hook shot.
Exactly.
Thingy. Yeah, it's pretty nice. You can leapfrog it, no worries.
He's Spider-Man. Machine thing.
Yeah.
That is woman.
Spider-Man scissor legs. Is kind of how it goes. Owner is going to be able to take down this blue buff though, and continuing to steal everything away as that stun's going to land. And Andal, yeah, he's really dead. No egg, no chance. Destiny comes on through, and the gate going to come down onto UCal. The rest of T1 not quite there for the follow-up though, as we can see. LazyFeel looking to try and get a few cheeky Mystic shots off, but I don't think that is going to happen as Owner will let the Gromp reset.
And Nivea
goes back.
Is just not working at Atlas, and this Camille pick is not only affecting the bottom lane, but just kind of, he's everywhere. It did end up dying for the mid attempt moments ago, but it's constantly just pressuring and setting up Owner in this situation to zone them away from the turret. And because everyone had to come down, UCal had to realm warp in. Even though they have 4 members here, it's not like they're, you know, losing plates in mid, because everyone on QMDRX has to show up to try to save this play. And Andal just doesn't have egg. There's too much damage here, and they're like, we got to stay, otherwise maybe they also kill LazyFeel. So you see the realm warp come through from UCal as he's trying to defend, but they lose nothing, T1, in this exchange and get the free bird.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
And I do think that the Anivia is kind of doing a little bit more than just like being a decent pick in lane. It is good to pick it when you're going to pick Ryze as well, right? Because they pick them at the same time, try and deny that counter pick. But then Faker just picks Twisted Fate and is just going to kind of nullify the lane. Yes, UCal is going to have a better time, but I don't know whether this is going to be a game that gets to the point where Ryze can kind of take over. If things go the way T1 want it to, they kind of win in mid-game anyway.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing about this draft where, obviously I'm being a bit facetious, but it almost feels like KMDRX like, wait, they can do that? Like, is that that's not in the list of champions that we see.
Yeah, you're supposed to play Cassiopeia.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, Cassiopeia would
have
gone hard.
The Prima guide said. It's gonna be Cassiopeia. We know we can handle this, but ultimately, you know, Twisted Fate pick here is working a treat. It works well into Ryze, but it is also just working incredibly well with Camille, because Camille Twisted Fate is a mid-top synergy we've seen for years. Works well in support. It's like Camille Galio. Sorry, Ezreal, you're just not going to play the game unless you get ahead, and he's currently 440 behind.
Would have been really cool if this Jhin was a Galio instead.
Imagine.
Oh, would have been so cool. Just need a Nocturne, and then you just have all of them.
I want to say I don't think it would do well in lane, but I've seen crazier things. Yeah. Maybe it actually would.
I mean, it only has to do better than a Jhin. Actually, he's fine in lane. Xin goes Carrier, finds the Hextech ultimatum as LazyFeel. That's a decent Captain Jack, but the curtains have been called. And unfortunately for FaZe, he kind of misses most of the buttons until Willa stands in front of LazyFeel to keep him alive. Flash Frost not quite working here as Andal is still incredibly squishy. And by still, I mean he's just going to be incredibly squishy throughout this whole game.
He's got his catalyst.
Hey, there we go.
Give him some time. He'll heal up.
We'll have that Rod of Ages, so time is kind of what he wants.
I watched these skirmishes, these fights, especially this one here, even though it didn't lead to a kill and really only got LazyFeel's cleanse. And you're like, okay, T1, we're cooking with this draft way early. The synergy is real. As we're going to see a UCal Realm Warp.
Well, that is just going to be enough. They do just jump on top of the Camille, and she is just dead. The rest of T1 not able to do too much. Crescent Guard here from Owner, who is fighting against Willer and actually taking matters into his own hands. That is a Chem Soul, which is a little unfortunate, as FaZe is in a really weird spot. Not entirely sure what he's trying to do there as Faker. He's going to have to flash out, but in goes Owner. I don't know about that. All right, Doran is just going to come on through to try and save the day. Faker's like, well, now it's my turn as he finds a gold card. And UCal is on the wrong side of the map. Doran makes sure that his death is swift as he flashes in for the kill.
And it's a 5-4 kill score, so if you're a Kiwoom fan, you're like, okay, it was pretty even, right? Not really, actually, with the exchange here. And this is, by the way, if you've heard the term T1 Circus, like that was it right there. That is quintessential T1 Circus, because this is what we're talking about when we talk about T1 kind of walking the fine line, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Keria sacrifices himself here, right, so they can get the dragon. And for a lot of teams, it's like, okay, is this salvageable? Sorry, owner, you're dead. We'll probably just leave. Baker and crew are like, hold on, let's play this. Watch Pace try to make an insane outplay here, by the way, trying to get on top of Willer. Messes up. Willer gets away with his flash. It's actually really clean from Willer. He's super low. And the owner's like, you know what? I've watched a few Kanavi VODs. I think I can pull this off.
They get a lot of flashes.
And then, like, he survives for so long. Doran gets the snipe with the equalizer, and Faker's like, I still have ult. And Doran just shows up to collect monies. I mean, Rumble's just printing money, I swear, every single game. And now he has a 300 gold lead and 2 kills to his name.
How does Pays now have a 950 gold lead? I think it's probably because he's taken a bunch of plate money and things like that, but he's got his scoped weaponry and is now looking to do some work. I kind of like this new Jhin build that people are doing that doesn't have a Ghost Blade. It's really been making me feel a bit better about the champion.
I like it when Jhin stays away and doesn't like press a button to walk towards the enemies. When he stays away and shoots from far, that is the good Jhin.
And shooting from far is the benefit for this
Hex
item.
Optics?
Yeah, the Hex Optics is quite good.
God, I remembered it. That's my first time.
Yeah, I just call it the scope. That's generally how I do it.
I don't know the number. It's C55 or something, but it's Hex Optics.
It's okay. It didn't need the number. It was already a unique name.
When are we going to get Kim Optics?
Ooh, that is a really good point. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't think we're going to get it.
Yeah.
It'll probably be Luden's companion, you know.
That might be like in the 2027 version as the C55.
Could be.
It sounds like it'd go fast, doesn't it? C55?
Yeah.
I don't know why. You know, 55 was my basketball jersey number.
Really?
When I was a kid. Yeah.
What was the meaning?
Fun fact, there wasn't one.
Oh,
it was just the one that they pulled out of the for me. Jersey bucket? Not entirely sure about that one. Saved by a team fight here as Ona goes in. There's the Destiny one more time as well. So there's a decent amount of poke here from T1. They're into a choke point, and it looks like Kiwoom DRX are going to at least push them away for now.
You know the T1 Circus thing? I feel like this is partially why Owner is so good at Xinjiao, because Xinjiao allows you to kind of cheat the like, oh, this didn't quite work out, but they can't hurt me, so we're just going to walk away. And he is so good, by the way, at turning those into... They tried to set something up into me, and then my team showed up, and we smashed them because we have the best macro, the best rotations. In this case, he just walked away, and it's fine. They're now going to turn this into... Okay, they also walked away, and we have Prio on Herald. Keria has Flash and ult, and there's no Ezreal for him to ult yet, but he could be
equalizes up in
else.
3 seconds. I think T1 are ready to go. Rich going to need to do some work here, as there's the Flash Hextech ultimatum to come through from Keria. The equalizer does go down. They will lose the Camille, but what more can they gain from the situation? The answer is nothing, as it turns out. Some wildcards do fly on through as Anvil's taking so much damage. I think does have his egg back and available again, but there it goes. Down once more as Rich flashes forward. I don't know about that one, though. He's just going to go down. Still, Ona is able to take down the Rift Herald. Not entirely sure how that even happened, as Ona flashes on in, but didn't have the ulti available. Does use it there. Comet kills another person here today, and Pace is at full health, just shooting where he can.
Yeah, Lehens right now was like, I feel you.
Yep.
He flashed it, but he died to the Jhin afterwards. The Jhin in this game not at securing the kill. The Comet actually doing the work.
Comet value, man.
This setup here initially looks like it's going to be abysmal for T1 because they didn't do enough damage to the carries. Lazy Feel and UCal are untouched by the equalizer. Willer gets away, and it's like, uh-oh, can T1 fight their way out of this? They're trying to hold aggro on this Herald. And then actually, I think Kiwoom do a disservice here by holding the Herald. And then Rich goes in for no reason. Like, frankly, I don't think there was any follow-up here. They could have just kited back with the Ezreal, and then the Herald goes over to Owner, who then, for a second time, Blast Cone engages, and it's Chemtech Soul, so he gets to go really far.
I was trying to work out what he was doing there. I think he thought that he still had ult, or he had ult back up, because it was about to come back, if that was a flash ulti, right, to like split up the team, they could have killed so many people.
Yeah,
just didn't quite figure it out.
He wasn't healthy really either. As Pays, by the way, is also printing money.
He's got some Swifties as Faker is going to turn up right on top of the bird, and she will be absolutely destroyed. Rich teleporting in, but may regret it. True Shot Barrage, though, is going to dissuade them from hanging around in the area. T1 are playing some fast and loose League of Legends, and it's working.
Yeah, Keria was the one who struggled with the Anivia pick early this year. I believe it was into Ashe Seraphine, but it might have been Karma. It's been a while. Okay.
Well, Shelly
get this.
is not going to charge.
But the time that he plays into the Anivia with the Camille pick, he's also died 3 times, but he's having a good time. He's not having a good time. You remember how we haven't really seen Camille rumble because they're both top lane champions? You know, there was an era where Camille was jungle and it was scary and it was actually broken and it was bad.
Yeah.
But now we're watching Camille rumble because Camille is a support in this game. So that's also a problem. The Ezreal has only died 1 time so far, but is 1,400 gold behind. It's really hard for LazyField to team fight. I want to reiterate that for both him and Yukal, you see in all of these skirmishes, they've been like a million miles away from everything because they have to be. Otherwise, they just die instantly. The engage is unreal. Gold card, Xin Zhao getting on top of you. You know, Camille ults, Rumble ults. Jin is blowing you up from safety as well. Like, Ezreal is just not going to have a good time if something doesn't change soon. It's already a 4,000 gold lead, so I'm not holding my breath here for LazyField, but he's trying to make something happen. Again, positioning has been good, but I mean, sometimes your positioning being good means you're not doing damage, so you're not winning. Yeah,
he does at least have that 2-item spike that we like to talk about on the Ezreal, as Andal is going to very rudely be told to leave. Does find a nice stun as LazyField is looking to try and get some damage down. Right buff in hand, so kind of frustrating. But T1 are just all going to walk up to this outer turret.
This turret is not long for this world. I mean, Q him. They have Anivia wave clear, so they're going to be fine. But I was so concerned. I'm like, oh, that Camille is ready to use that turret. They get away.
Yep. It's okay for the moment. Yukal is now here to back up Rich. Wanted to try and find Doran, who is going to go back home.
Deathless game for Doran, by the way.
Yeah, kind of crazy. As he may have turned it around. Pays and LazyField fighting here. Pays feeling pretty good about that one. And now the curtains are being called. In goes Keria, and down goes the Ezreal. And Keria just hanging out underneath this turret, living his best life. As it turns out, Willer is going to be the one to collect that kill. Faker takes down a turret. And I feel like this is Keria's plan, is
he's just
die as many times as possible and take as many people with him as he can.
That's exactly the type of play I was describing about, what, 20 seconds before, where I was like, he's going to use that turret to kill you.
And himself.
He did do that. And he died, but it was worth. So we'll watch it again. He does end up using the wall here, but gets on top of the turret and then says, get away, Anivia. Stop annoying me while I'm killing the Ezreal.
He gets the
and then the Jarvan gets the kill and not the Ezreal.
Okay. What happened here, I wonder? Good flag and drag, but that is the flash when becomes lightning. Willa knows that he's dead, wants to try and save his mid laner, and will be able to do that by buying a little bit of time.
Keeping Faker away from Yukal.
Yeah. I'm looking at the money difference, and I'm feeling like the money difference is problematic here for QMDRX.
Rich is making it a little less problematic in the top lane matchup.
Yeah.
Slowly over time.
The least gold advantage is in goes Ona. Just audaciously charges in. He's tanking his turret, and it will go down. We'll keep him alive.
Okay, there's a bit of a flank here from Rich. I don't know if it's good for him, though. He's immediately canceling it.
I was going to say, is this the Hail Mary? And it's not. It's Rich trying to go back home. Doran has teleport himself, so he can come down whenever they need him, but he doesn't have Equalizer, so he's not a massive amount of value. Okay, let's have a look at what happened here.
Okay, so Doran is Realm Warped on. He drops Equalizer. Willer loses most of his health.
And then they have to leave.
Faker.
Because of Destiny.
It was their destiny to die here.
Yeah.
And Doran remains deathless.
Kind of insane.
It doesn't necessarily mean anything. He's playing Rumble into Cassante, and he has shown up to finish fights most of the time, but he's had some impressive plays. And Rumble is really good. It's crazy that they got their hands on that, and then the rest got a little bit silly, but it's incredibly strong, and only T1 really knows how to play like this. And only T1 chooses to play like this. I mean, I'm sure, Genji, KT might be able to pull this one off, but they just choose to play a little bit more standard.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's only D+ that also plays like
D+
this.
actually will pick these champions. Barrel 100% in the old days.
Yeah.
Like, give me that Camille.
The spirit of Barrel. As Doran and Rich just fighting one another. You can see Doran very, very happy to continue going toe-to-toe, but Adaptive Helm is done here, or Jack shows, depending on which game you're playing. And he is doing all right.
Owner is really feeling himself in this game.
He's flashing whenever it's off cooldown.
Yeah. He's blast coning whenever there's one nearby. He's really just trying to annoy anyone who's near him, so then the rest of the team can collapse from 5,000 miles away with the Camille and the Twisted Fate and the Jin, who's not going to collapse. He's just going to shoot far, which is a good thing. That's what Jin does. This is a good Jin comp. You know, like the Hanwha comp yesterday with Guma, you pin people down and Jin shoots far.
Okay, so the equalizer was just used, but Carrier is just going to look for this top lane, and they get full information, decide that they would not like to go up there and try and take down Rich. They will instead allow Owner to take this dragon. Faker will move towards this inner turret in the bottom lane, grab himself a plate before he leaves, and they let Rich live.
Faker is definitely doing the high rolling in this game with his passive 2,500.
Yep, better players make more money from your passive. That's just how it goes.
When you're the greatest of all time, you're getting a lot of sixes.
And he's like 20 CS, over 20 CS down, almost the same scoreline, like Twisted Fate, man. He really does cheat.
He's got Rod of Ages, so he's level experience, or rather his experience is even with, or level with, Yukal here. And he has 8 Dark Seal stacks.
Yeah, Twisted Fate is large.
He do also shoot far with the rapid fire cannon.
And it hurts when he does so because he's got a Lich Bane. So it's looking a little bit frightening here for QMDRX. They are 8,000 gold behind at 25 minutes into the game. Obviously, it's not over until your Nexus explodes, but it's feeling a little bit like things may be skewing in T1's favor. 4 minutes until the Chemtech Soul is available for T1. And honestly, I don't know, Chemtech Soul's not exactly great. I mean, Zinzao kind of likes it, but otherwise it is not fantastic.
Camille's support is all about that.
Okay, that's a good point. He has spent a lot of time at sub 50%.
Yeah, he's spending most of the time at like sub 1% health.
Yeah, or sub health, as it turns out. For good reason, though.
I do think T1 are in a position to where, like, even though they have TF, Jin, they can actually make a realistic take on the Baron, or an attempt to take Baron.
Yeah, I mean, if Doran's there, I mean, he melts it.
But also, like, their turn is incredible. So they just slowly take it. It doesn't matter. QM are like, oh, they're doing Baron. And then T1 are like, you can't be here or we kill you. And then we take Baron anyways.
Yep. And one of them is not allowed to leave if they do show up, because Carrier can just isolate his chosen target. As Owner is just going to walk up and take the enemy Krugs.
He seems to like killing Andil this game.
Yeah, Andil has been doing a bit of dying as Realm Warp is going to come on forward. They're looking for Paze, who flashes away. And there is the destiny. Carrier is going to sacrifice himself for the good of his AD carry as Willa goes in and still going to be able to get the knock-up onto Paze. Meanwhile, the fight erupts elsewhere as Doran goes in, goes gold, and Flamethrower gets the rest of the work done as Faker finds enough cards to throw into this Ezreal to take him down. And yes, Paze is going to die, but I think in exchange, they will probably kill everyone if they decide to stick around. And it looks like wisely, QMDRX are going to back away. At least the 2 that are left below.
They almost have enough damage here. And actually, going to send the Rumble home. He doesn't have TP. I don't know about this T1. This is a real T1 Baron.
Yeah, if Doran was... Yeah, he is going to go back and see what he can do. Owner is alive and very fed. He is a very scary boy right now. But
okay, this is crazy. This is too much for me.
This is not what you should do.
It's not safe. It's not safe.
Do not do this at home. As Carrier is going to make his way in, looks to try and dissuade Andal from being here. They both just blast going to Narnia. There's the steal that was obviously going to happen. And T1 will now just back away.
Sometimes the circus gets mixed reviews.
Yeah.
They ultimately kill the enemy champion, and they almost, I mean, they were in smite range of the Baron.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is Willer was like, you guys don't have any secure here. Sometimes just sit on your 8,000 gold lead and don't give QM a free Baron.
Owner was,
with bounty.
He was there, wasn't he? was there. So it was a 50.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can look back at this, but first,
It just didn't have to be.
watch Pays just be like, nope, 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 nope. And Faker's like, okay, all right, I'll go handle this. Carrier's like, oh, I'm going to hold him in position.
Yep.
And then Doran drops the equalizer, which is somewhat problematic for the rest of this fight, but Faker is so big. Watch how much damage Faker does to Lazy Feel. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm the real 80 carry with AP items.
Oh, and like insta-locks a gold card as well. Damn. He must have
gets
those
another
cards
one.
kicking in the back of his brain.
He's stacked the deck. Rich
yeah.
is just dead here. But then they're like, Xinjiao and TF can do the Baron. And Doran's like, I'm really low, but I guess I'll help you guys. He just steals it. For those who remember the old Live Sandbox Willer, Elise days, he's pretty good at stealing Baron.
Okay, we are into some action here as Doran has gone golden once again, but I believe he's going to take a visit to the Death Chamber. That will indeed happen. Curtain Call does come in as you can just follow the smallest bit of the cone and you can hit Pays with it.
If I hadn't just watched that D+ series, I'd be like, nah, there's nothing to worry about here for T1. They still got a 7,000 goldie, but it is, I don't know exactly what happened there, but it's not looking good at this fight.
Oh, that's a really nice wall. Somehow Carrier manages to walk around it, but maybe he didn't want to as he hook shots away.
That's not top lane, Camille. I think they should just let this dragon go. It's just
By the way,
Chemtech.
Owner is definitely going to be blast coning in there. Win doesn't become blinding, actually, and they are just going to secure it.
Good choice, T1.
Yes, they elect not to go in for the first time this game.
I was very concerned, but
rightly so, Wolf.
Let's see what happened to Doran. I think he just gets isolated here. Realm Warp comes in. He's on the wrong side of this. Willer engages first. There's no peel. Faker has his gold card out, but he's too far away. Doran buys time, but just dies. And then from here, you know, the Jhin ultimate is also down. The effective damage is all onto Rich, and the carries are still alive. So T1 make the call to back away. Although for a few moments there, it looked like Carrier and crew were like, no, we will not back away.
Faker as well has gone Death Cap instead of Azonia's or something like that. Very aggressive. What he needs to do now is build Void Staff and finish the Magi's for the most, you know, egotistical, you could say,
yes.
item build. Obviously, Azonia's can be very effective on TF, as Messiah taught us 15 years ago. As Yukal is now going to get Destinied on, and Faker, with all of this money that he has, would be doing a lot of damage to Yukal if Yukal didn't have an arm guard to break.
Okay, this is a very awkward spot here for T1. No equalizer, and, you know, QM should just be able to break this mid-turret. I just don't think there's any defending it.
Yeah, Owner is actually going to go in, but Willer is going to say thank you for the engage.
There's not going to
done from Andal as well, as Pays has moved in. I'm not sure about that Realm Warp.
What
that was
in the world was that?
I had no idea. It was a lot of fun. Pays is finding some decent damage on this Jhin, though, as Rich. He's a paperweight and will get popped by Owner in the end. Willer just going to get melted by Doran. Doran may get melted himself, but he's got Azonia's. There's the curtain call value, and he lines up the next kill at the same time. Andal's in a bunch of trouble, and yes, scrambled once again, please, sir. Down that will go, and Doran going to help with that.
That would be my
really
face.
Got his eye.
That was my face when I saw the Realm Warp as well, QM fans.
Oh, gosh.
Like, when I saw his Realm Warp, I'm like, oh, I guess he goes straight on the turret and tries to push Pays. Nope. That's not where he, that's like, I think that's what Lazyfield thought as well. He's like, here we go. He's like, whoa, 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 where am I?
Yeah, I was a bit confused also.
He met Aslan on the other side.
Oh dear. Well, they're going to go in. They grab the knock up there onto the Rise. And that is going to complete the ace. T1, the circus will take a brief interval before it does come back once again. That was a lot of fun. And it was a fun draft out of T1.
I do think that they probably still win the game no matter what. I mean, unless they made like a few more errors, but I thought there was kind of an angle there for QMDRX. Like if they get that mid turret, it's really hard for Owner to get back in. But they sent their carries to like the Shadow Realm between turrets, and like T1 are like, well, you guys don't have damage. I guess we'll kill the other side. Meanwhile, Pays and Yukal are taking turns taking turret shots, like, and they can't hit anybody. Like, what was that? That was a disaster.
Yeah, it was very, very strange.
For like a split second, I was thinking, you know, maybe Kiwum actually has kind of a way back in here. If they win this team fight, maybe they can get a Baron. Maybe they can take some turrets off the map. There's a lot of bounties, but Yukal, he had a different plan in mind, and I still don't know if I'm ever going to understand it, but it's okay.
No, maybe the space is going to be able to tell us exactly what happened there and why it happened. Perhaps that is why we have
You're asking a lot of them.
A dedicated analysis zone where we find out the truth behind every play that has happened. That is going to be their challenge. Please riddle me. Solve the riddle as to why that Realm Warp happened. Maybe there's an answer out there somewhere, but we don't know it. We are going to go to a short break. When we get back, the space will have all the answers that we seek, and then we'll have game number 2. We'll see you there.
Even with eyes shut, I see them. Vile creatures. Lurking. Watching.
You wanna play too?
None can hide. The last from the shadows. They won't be laughing for long. I'll cut out their rot. Hunt down every last shadow. Cleanse this place once and for all. I will rid this world of demons.
Every sky is a line I'm drawn. Cut by cut, heart by mark, mining forever in the stone.
Hello and welcome back to the space. We're here after game number 1 of T1 up against QMDRX, and it was a very silly and chaotic game, but T1 ended out on top at the end of the day regardless, as they looked pretty good in the win at the end of the day with the 1-0. What do you guys think about that game?
T1 Circus, so it's a T1 Classic. From the draft as well, we didn't know till the end where Camille and Rumble goes. We were kind of expecting Rumble support as well, like with the Kalista. But yeah, at the end, we saw Camille into Anivia because they could have the R5. So I think it worked really well in the early game in terms of how they want to play aggressively with Xin Zhao pick, and I think they neutralized it really well.
Yeah, and a Xin Zhao pick with the
Already planned it. They're going to do everything that we have laid out for them.
You should see what Kerry is going to play this game. It's going to be out of control.
Big twist incoming.
Oh yeah, no, this is probably some of our best work. I don't think we've done better than this. So I hope you guys strap yourselves in and get ready for some fun to enjoy the circus. Hope you guys enjoyed the interval, and I'm really sad that the outcome of the Realm Warp was just a mistake.
Well, I mean, when they said that, I was like, well, yeah, they definitely wanted to kill Pays. It's just that Pays wasn't right there. He was on the turret that they could have also just killed and then pushed. Anyway,
I think
UCal pushed the exit location to a different place than what he should have done. Maybe he did by accident, or maybe he did because it was.
Maybe he was overly enthusiastic.
Yeah.
That could be another option there. Is they are going to choose first pick once again. T1 probably blue side, and there they are. So we are going to have exactly the same draft layout as what we had in the last game.
This happens a lot.
Let's see whether QMDRX are able to get back on the horse and make this one happen. It was an odd draft in game number 1, largely on the T1 side, but also on the QMDRX side. But they are still going to ban the bud.
They will. I think that should continue. Jace will be banned here. And though Doran has... there were some shaky moments.
Yeah.
Varus against Lazy Feel, that's fair. It's one of his best picks alongside the Ezreal. And Varus is just kind of... He's too flexible. He does too many things. So Jace and Gnar. So they're saying...
First pick Renekton.
Rich, you... Here you go. Good luck. It's going to be you. You're the guy.
Well, let's see whether he can be the guy. As one last ban, Orianna, Azir, both of them still up and available.
Pantheon.
Ooh, Pantheon of the big one.
Nocturne.
Oh, Nocturne is going to be the ban. So now they have to choose.
First pick Pantheon?
Orianna is up, though. And UCal can never resist the call of the orb.
Not to mention that giving Orianna to Faker never seems like a good idea.
True.
But giving Pantheon to Owner also bad.
Yeah.
Also not ideal. Ooh, and they get Azir this time too because they didn't ban it in game 2.
So Azir Pantheon.
Wow.
That is some big champions.
That's okay. Orianna still has Jarvan as a ball carrier. Oh, wait.
Yeah, sometimes
You and I are the script writers, so we
like
gotta
that.
pretend like we,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going
No,
on.
that was actually really cute.
Yeah.
Doing the strategic forget of the fact that Fearless exists.
But we did kind of let the Renekton slip a little bit earlier, but it's fine.
No, we just wanted to sound smart. And I don't know whether it's even smart, to be honest.
Well, it is
there are-
protected, but there's still a cannon. over
There are some champions you can pick into it.
Zeus 100% plays cannon here, but he's not on T1 anymore, and
No.
not sure what they are going to run with this. The Vi makes a lot of sense to, be not the greatest ball carrier, but she's pretty up there. And also Renekton, similar story. They've got a lot of engage. They have a lot of explosive damage. We'll see what Lazyfield gets his hands on. As here, Kennen, are you playing? You're playing Vayne.
Playing Vayne. The Doran Vayne.
That makes me very nervous.
I am so anxious. At least I'm pretending to be, because we wrote the script to this game.
Yeah, when
we told you it was going to be some fun.
When you watch a young child run to jump on a skateboard, you have that
oh god, yep.
But then usually they wouldn't do it if they'd never done before. That'll be fine. Maybe that's what's going on here for me in my brain for watching Doran pick Vayne.
Yeah, this was rude of us, wasn't it?
It'll probably be fine, but I'm very nervous about it.
Let's see what these bans are going to look like. As Pyke, Nautilus, both going to be taken away from Andal. The Pyke, something that Kerry has found a lot of success on, but not going to be playing it this game because they decided to ban it away. And there is the Caitlyn ban as well for Pays. So what we're going to be doing here towards the bottom side, it looks like an Ashe Seraphine angle. Might be on the cards.
Gone, Bard's gone, and Karma obviously gone, but
well, they can play Yunara.
Lulu with Vi is pretty good, but it's a tough lane. It's a tough lane. It is playable, but it is very tough.
Does Carrier actually want to play Seraphine? That's the question. Because my gut says no. My gut says he wants to play something else, but he is going to lock in Seraphine.
That was very
anyway.
crafty of you.
Thank you.
I really like how you were trying to pretend like...
Yeah. I'd like to, keep the element of suspense.
You did kind of tease it before we got into the draft. You can't wait to see what Carrier is going to play in this game.
Yeah, apparently I could wait, as it turns out. It's just Seraphine. But this is a pretty strong draft outside of the Vayne situation.
I kind of feel like if you took away the bottom lane matchup, if it was almost anything else, like Lucian Nami or something like that, I'd be like, wow, Kiwum's draft's sick. It's actually so good. You've got, a great lockdown for any target. Like, even the Lucian tries to go and you blow him up, it doesn't matter what AD carry it is. Even the Azir is not necessarily safe. You got to deal with the shockwaves. You got to deal with the Vi engage with Lulu follow-up. But the bottom lane is a bit lopsided. The Renekton may struggle into the Vi. We'll see with Vayne. Your mileage may vary. Your success rate may depend on the individual performance on the day and/or condition of both players.
Yeah, terms and conditions apply. Let's just say that. And if you are playing some Vayne spotting, just make sure that you do it responsibly. Okay, everyone? Feel free to substitute water if things are going dire. And we'll keep you up to date as to whether or not we do need to get some water in there. Instead, stay hydrated. Let's go into game number 2 here between T1 and Kiwum DRX.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right. A little bit better coordination on the fan chant there for Kiwum DRX. I respect it. And here we are. Onto the Rift for game number 2. This could be a game that Rich hard carries.
It could be.
It's also Doran going for Ghost instead of Exhaust. We've seen a lot of Exhaust for our AD carry top lanes, be it Varus or the Vayne. But this time going a bit of a ghosty route instead.
It's really good into, or with rather, I think Ashe Seraphine follow-up.
Oh, that's true.
Really strong, and you're going to get empowered. But I kind of like Exhaust because it's both good into the Renekton in lane, but also really good for just exhausting Nara in team fights. But either way, we'll see how it works out.
Nice avoidance of the high note there. Carrier is unable to hit all of the damage. Misses that one as well. High value.
Carrier did do all of the pea shooter damage, though, with the little passive where the stars are like...
Yeah, that's true. Is that the high note? Is that the passive?
I don't know actually what the name of it is.
I know the W is called surround sound. You press that button, there's the beat drop. Know that one as well. That is going to cause Lazyfield to go down to about 50%. Andil is going to suffer the same treatment here.
It's so annoying playing this lane. There's roots, there's slows. Carrier's doing the annoying, like, you know, pixie dust flies at you. Also, he's got Airy. It's just like, bam, 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 bam. You're like, oh, God, I'm just trying to kill the minions. Just want to play the lane. I got a Lulu lane. It wins, right? It's fine, right? It's the ranged one. It's a little tough.
Yeah.
A little hard.
T1 having a good time, we could say. Right now, Willer is sort of nowhere near this bottom lane, but could come down there and instead is just going to be pathing top. You've got Ona pathing towards the bottom side as Doran has shoved this wave in. I think landing on the top side of the map as the Vi seems like a good idea. Some Condemn just thrown out there by Doran for fun. And
a lot of lost minions here for Rich. Lost the cannon as well.
Yeah, it's not going to be a very good time, is it, for this Renekton?
If by very you mean a good time at all, then yes.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Something. We mean something. He's going to have feelings about the lane.
Let's just say the
probably
number
going to be negative.
The number in the middle of the scoreboard between the Vayne and the Renekton is probably blue color for a while.
Yeah, maybe even forever. As Paze gets slurkled.
He's kind of low.
There is a potential angle there, but there is no Vi in the vicinity. And here is a dive. Let's see. Pace's health bar is very low, but Ona goes in. They look to take down Lazyfield. That is going to be the first one. Flash out from Ona. And T1 really do want to kill Andal as well. That is going to be Carrier immediately dead. And the spear is going to miss. Will is going to come over and kill Ona. And yep, just doesn't really need to do much of anything at all.
Yeah, I like the part where they get the first kill. And then I was kind of expecting they leave. However, because, you know, Seraphine does a lot of things, but tanking turrets, not generally one of her strongest points.
So you say that. However, I saw her very efficiently tank the turret to the point where she managed to tank it with all of her health bar in one shot.
Yeah.
That was, I'd say, very good tanking of the turret.
I guess it's like fairly efficient.
Yeah, see?
The turret ammunition usage. I mean, turrets don't have ammo, but if they did.
Yeah.
All right, so this part, great. Owner flashes out, and Carrier's like, the Pantheon couldn't handle it. I'm actually next level. And obviously, the idea is...
It was a great flash from Andal.
Andal plays it well. The idea is that he'll sacrifice for Paze to get a second kill.
Yeah.
Instead, he dies, and then Owner also dies, because Willer comes here to clean up the pieces. So, bit of a backfire there.
And now you can see all of the numbers outside of the one that you said was going to be perpetually blue are red, which is certainly good news. Pace has to use a barrier here as well, but Lazyfield does go down very, very low. Does manage to charge up that Q, though, as we can see. Speaking of charged Qs, Pace has one of those as well as the beat drops, and Lazyfield is just dead. Pace very, very close to dead himself and will go down. Now some supportal combat to finish it off, and Carrier this time gets his revenge.
That's unfortunate. Got caught by the root. If he gets out there, I mean, he wasn't that far behind. He has a call, but...
And both of the kills went to Andal.
Yeah.
That's the really unfortunate part. Does mean that Paze now has a decent advantage, and Carrier gets to stick around and crash this wave. Let's have a look at how it all happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's just root here with the slow coming through, but it's not enough damage. Paze is forced to barrier, but unfortunately, you don't have the same sort of sustained damage here when you run out of Q. Lazyfield is running out of Q and also ends up getting caught. So Andal here at least trades it back. Not sure if Paze had to play it exactly like that. He could have tried to back off and might have lived there, but just wanted to guarantee the kill. And he was just like, I'm not going to have any hesitation. Is nice. Knock
very
wall.
Nice. Condemn.
Rich hits level 6, but it's not going to be good news for a while.
Yeah.
This is what people talk about when they say, I hate it when I play against ranged top laners.
I feel like playing Renekton into Vayne is like doing a dopamine detox. There is the beat drop kind of missing entirely.
Punish me, Blade Hunter Lady.
Yeah.
Like, at least with Quinn, you can go for cleanse and be like, all right, or sorry, the she goes for cleanse and tries to kill you, and they can't even W. But the Vayne is just like, I'm trying to get towards the Vayne. I got condemned.
Yeah,
I got condemned into my turret,
and I will never hit a W on this champion.
Yeah, you can't actually W Vayne. Like he doesn't need cleanse.
Yeah. It's just a bad.
Those are the ones, Renekton hates those two.
Yep. And normally you're like really happy about like I'm hitting my item spike, I'm hitting my ultimate, things are great, but then you don't feel good because you remember you're in a Vayne lane, and that's just how it is. Rich is able to get 43 CS, so that's better than 0. But he's still
than like 30
behind.
That we have seen some players get stuck in. But yeah, there has not been any jungle intervention because they know that Rich is detoxing.
Yeah.
And so they don't want to interfere.
Well, proud of him for making that choice.
They don't want to enable him to get kills or be happy.
Yeah, exactly. You don't be that guy. If they make that decision, you have to respect it.
Well, there's like, call on me if you need me. I'm up here. Just like, I'm only going to come if you say.
Yeah.
And then Rich like eats that damage and doesn't have Fury anymore. And he's like, actually, like, I don't think you can even make me happy if you try.
No.
No dopamine allowed.
Well, he is blue number go up on the Doran side of things. And Carrion Pays continuing to shove things in. I think they're feeling pretty good. Things very even as far as the mid lane is concerned. The jungle as well. Nothing really to write home about, as Willa does have a few extra camps because he didn't spend any time dead. And KMDRX, I mean, they're behind, but I think it's kind of okay. It all depends about how these team fights are going to look. Obviously, we talk about this with Vayne compositions all the time. How do you then transition it into playing a late game? And that is what I'm very intrigued about.
Well,
it's also Doran playing the
Pantheon,
champion.
He does like to go from far away to get on top of you, stun you, become undamageable, and then press Q and kill you.
Well, that is precisely what he's going to look for here. That's a high-value flash from Willa, as he does get a Vault Breaker, needs some Polymorph there, as Ona has to flash away. Lazy Phil has ulted, does find that Arc of Judgment as well, as Ona, without a flash, is he's just walking to his doom. So it's never going to be a good thing.
That was a really good response there from QMDRX, and also the formula I was talking about for Pantheon, he skipped the first step, which was to ult from far away on top of somebody who didn't have friends.
He wanted to skip that step.
Yeah, he did. And it's okay because the thought process was a little bit different there, and he was challenging for a buff, and they were invading the jungle, and it wasn't I'm just going to go kill Yunara now. He was fighting here for this blue buff. However, going in here, I get it. There's the ult follow-up, but Willard just broke his ankles. And then also Keria did not get his ultimate to extend there, so now he's just stuck because he flashed for that, and so now dead.
Yep. Nothing that Ono was going to be able to do there. Sometimes you walk into a pit and then realize that, hang on, I don't have any way of getting over walls.
I don't know if it was necessary for them to commit that much for the blue buff, but they wanted to play through Prio, and it's a trap you can find yourselves in when you have an Ashe Seraphine lane and a Pantheon. You're like, nah, there's no way they can contest this. But if you outplay, then suddenly the Pantheon is like, oh, I used my buttons.
And there's some skirmishing power on this KRX composition too. You can see, I mean, Pays is ahead by only by a very small amount, despite the CS gap between him and Lazyfield. And Keria still trying to do what he can, but I do feel like the value of the Lulu Yunara later on in the game is going to be higher. Obviously, it depends how things are played, but
yes.
Still, in theory, the wild growth is very powerful, and Rich is going to be very strong because of it.
I mean, with 500 gold deficit, that means a lot right now. But in 20 minutes, if that has remained the same, it means very little.
Yeah.
And he obviously can follow up on so many of these CCs. Like, even Polymorph, he's like, I'm in there, And Pays needs to be very careful as a result. Or very aggressive in this case.
Yeah. Lazyfield is just going to have to ult and dash away. Tries to get some damage down, but there's the beat drop. Gets the arc, and that is going to at least deter them from going any further forward. But Pays still at barrier. They were still ready to fight. And Lazyfield and Andal are not looking so hard. Double flash is still available for this bottom lane, but the barrier heal advantage here for T1 means that they will have a lot of control as Willa moves down towards his bottom side. Ball breakers into vision, though.
Okay, this is a very tense situation.
There is a Pantheon.
Pantheon has
lurking.
ult, but I think even trying to fight this into Ashe Seraphine with the Encore available is risky in itself, even in a 3v2. And knowing that Pantheon is nearby, I don't think they should force this. Although Wither has other ideas. He is still lurking. He is looking for the charged Q engage. Doesn't have flash. Like, I think just walk away. They want to defend this turret, but it's just going to be more plates over, and they will ultimately have to back.
Yeah, Lazy Field was doing a great job baiting.
Yes.
They did discover that if they had have successfully baited, he would have just died anyway. As Willer is going to move on over and look to take down this Cloud Drake, which is going to be the second of the game. Double Dragon would be very nice here for QMDRX.
Unfortunately, Keria and Pays are away, so not a lot of control here for T1 on this Dragon. I think QM are just going to have this one on lock. Let's see what the soul is going to be. Oh, that's really important.
Chemtech, that it is.
Oh, come on.
Fox, please, man.
Actually pretty good for both comps.
Honestly, yeah, with a Lulu and a Seraphine.
When you have an Enchanter, not only are the individual dragons fantastic, but when your carry goes sub 50% health and then is doing damage while getting healed, you get a ton of value. So as long as you're remaining under 50, which happens a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And now Vane's got Hexplate. T1 are kind of firing on all cylinders here. It has not been the most dominant early game that we've ever seen from an Ashe Seraphine, but they are still in prime position. Maybe a caster curse. I was not aware that Willer was getting his flashback here in this alcove. But look at the patience. Look at the respect.
There it is. Just going to go back home. And so it is just a 2v2. No Pantheon in the area either.
He may have been spotted there by T1. I'm not 100% sure about why Pays and Carryover is so incredibly safe there, but
just not enough information.
Yeah.
They do get the ping out onto the buy as he gets back towards his red buff, and now they go aggressive. Arrow is going to connect. There's the Encore as Lazy Field takes a lot of damage. Still he gets the heal. Might actually, as he survived the opening salvo, be able to do something, but instead he just dashes in. The wild growth to get the knock up onto Pays, who flashes out of the way, and Carrier might be able to get it. Never mind. It's just a volley to pick up the kill. I loved the idea from Lazy Field and Andal there. Unfortunately, it just didn't work.
If Lazy Field had barrier, maybe. He's a few seconds away.
Oh, man.
He was 0 and 2. I mean, they had item parity. It's a Kraken Slayer between them.
It would have been so cool if it had worked.
It just didn't, you know, it was so close to working out. Unfortunately, Owner was also coming down. But, man, it looked really cool. But it's backfires in a big way.
We're going to see Owner find a bit of a stun onto Willer here. He's able to get a bit of damage back himself. Still, just a battle for the Raptor camp. As Rich has decided to leave his top lane, understandable. Teleport towards the bottom lane for Doran, though, so it is going to be an Azir versus Renekton matchup. Let's check this one out one more time.
It's so unfortunate for Lazy Field. He loses so much health here because he almost avoids the CC. But that scenario that's created is why he looks for the flash in here with the wild growth. Dash flash in, gets on top of Pays, and again, his barrier is just a few seconds away.
Oh, just needed that one extra order.
One more would have done it.
But good
or
flows.
If he had taken just a little bit less damage there from Carrier right before.
But I mean, even in that exchange, like he avoided volley damage by standing behind his Lulu. Like he did a lot in order to like maximize the amount of surviving that he did. Just unfortunately wasn't enough. As Yukal is looking to come over and kill Doran here, get some revenge for Rich. As Doran is just going to clear out these minions. And we've got relentless pings here on this bottom side. Still 2 minutes away from the dragon. Not a whole lot to fight for down there.
Yeah, 2 minutes away. I think just making sure that there wasn't going to be a collapse. Pantheon's ult's not up just yet. And we do have Rift Herald being pretty heavily ignored at the moment. And Spaker is actually not able to get a ton of control topside right now. So it's going to be a bit of a slow take on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be Willer going back, so they don't decide to start it up.
Yeah, they get the residual scuttle vision, or not residual, but just straight up scuttle vision here. They secure the crab, and so Owner is seen by it, is what I'm really getting at.
But Willer didn't have time to actually cancel his back. It was kind of very awkward as he comes into vision to start off this Rift Herald as Willer hits the shop.
And I guess instead of, going for this, they're going to try to maybe dive this TPing Azir. I don't think so. He's also got vision. Faker's like, no, you're not going to get a cross-map turret. And in fact, they will not, I don't think.
Well, they're going to look for it. There's the shockwave. The arrow, though, to interrupt. And Faker will just sweep them away. Flashes out of the way of Willa there as well. And Ona from the sky will execute his opposite number. Oh, God. The T1 outplay under the turret. Ganking Faker has always been a mistake in a side lane. And that is a perfect example as to why.
I just thought, okay, he's got flash, he's got ult. But then I was like, okay, well, there's a Vi there. I don't know how much that's going to matter necessarily, but FaZe has got the goats back. That angle was crazy. And then Faker is able to get the freebie.
Yeah. The way that Faker played it like from the outset as well, just beautifully done.
Everything about that was just like, it makes you want to type /FF, you know? Okay. Like he flashes for the Q extension. Then the stun comes through. He goes on the Orianna, maxes out the damage there, then is able to flash away at the last possible second while layering damage in. The Pantheon is actually what does it, which is kind of funny.
I mean, I think that he would have done it with just FaZe's help, but the fact that Ona comes down and shares in that money as well means that the Pantheon has a slight advantage as the dust settles, as T1 look to start stacking their Chemtech Dragons. Rich, though, does get some plates.
Yeah, he's keeping it around 500, like I was saying.
There we go.
The problem is the Ashe on the bottom lane, or in the mid lane in this case, but that's where the real gold problem is here for QMDRX, is dealing with this empowered Ashe right now, who just made an incredible play to save the mid laner in the bottom lane sides. And we're looking at Chemtech Dragon here, so QM's 2-Drake lead feels less valuable. Again, we mentioned how it's pretty good for these comps, but it's not leading to a soul that's game-breaking, like a Hextech or an Infernal or a Mountain is often. I don't think this is the best Mountain example, but you know what I mean. In this case, Chemtech valuable. We're going to fight for it probably, but you're not going to force T1 into an uncomfortable position with the vision they have right now, for example, with this, if they had it when the Drake is up, because it's not, but you get my point.
Yeah. There is, on the other hand, though, like a quad Chemtech Soul with this comp, kind of revolting. Carrier will be doing a lot of healing.
That's actually kind of nasty to think about.
Yeah.
I don't like that you put that in my head.
And look, that's where the tempo vibes are taking us, towards T1 being able to lock down whatever they would like. However, LazyFeel trying to do something about that, as now FaZe getting flashed on once again. But there's the encore. They were waiting for the over-aggression, and Carrier is able to put him down. In the meantime, though, it's the final hour here in this top lane, and Doran is dead, ladies and gentlemen. That was just a little bit of a bridge too far. The rest of T1 looking for an angle, but it is just going to be this outer turret that they focus on.
Yeah, I mean, that type of play has a small chance of working. The execution was, again, great for LazyFeel. Last time he didn't have his barrier, barely didn't have the damage, took a lot before. This time, there's just an encore waiting. There are limits to what you could do in this situation. Only one Mikhail's.
Oh, well, FaZe doesn't have any buttons to press to get out of this one. Rich is angry as Carrier wants to take the Shelly exit. And does have 11 health on the Shelly, and then it is going to die, and now he is going to follow suit. LazyFeel wants to grab that kill as they look to set it up for him, and Yukel's like, that's my money. And he takes it. The Orianna getting paid, certainly going to be a good thing here, as well as Faker just splitting on the top side.
So watch LazyFeel go in here on the pace. Barriers traded, does a ton of damage. A lot of this is front-loaded, gets the W, but then this encore comes through. And there's just no answer. Even with Wild Growth, he's just CC'd to death. Well, CC'd and shot to death. And then here, things looking a little bit messy on the side of T1, but they are able to get Doran on the other side here. Yukal has a lot of damage, though, and a lot of assistance. And then the mid lane with Carrier, I'll watch this again. I guess he just decides if he runs left there, he's going to die anyways, so he gets polymorph, goes for the Herald, and then this Blast Cone, imagine a world where Carrier actually gets the root here after the Blast Cone on, and then gets out. Imagine he gets over their heads.
So crazy.
It would have been crazy.
All right, well, now we're setting up for a Dragon in 2 minutes. Carrier throws out the ulti. That is going to at least keep the rest of his teammates safe. Shockwave going to get flashed. That was really cute by Yukel to put it in front of where he could have flashed towards. Carrier outplays it, and will be able to keep himself alive. Still, does have to flash in order to get out.
decided to use his ultimate to try to peel for the rest of his team. I think that's one of the symptoms of what's becoming quickly a bigger problem here for T1 in this game, is just not able to kind of group and use their team comp to its utmost power. And QMDRX are picking them apart a little bit. They're still 2,500 gold behind, but
It's
a few more of these moments. Yeah, a few more of these moments, and suddenly you're back in the game. So we need to be very cautious, showcasing our ultimates here for a potential dragon fight. All going to be up. All 3 of those missing ones. Obviously, the Ash arrow comes up super fast.
Sometimes it's good to check in on the cooldowns, but looks like there's not a whole lot to fight for at the minute. The Baron is up, and in a minute's time, there is going to be potential soul point once again for QMDRX.
One thing to mention too is that, you know, Keria lost his flash. Pays also traded flash with Lazyfield, and I think that favors Lazyfield because he has the dive setup and he has a pretty huge dash to get on top of this Ash. So the burst damage is absolutely there. So that's another cooldown that was being showcased there that I think could be really impactful when we go into this next dragon fight if T1 go for a full contest here. They may simply just see what they can get in terms of prio. They don't like the fight, they can walk away without these critical flashes. But again, right now, they have a lot of control. 13 seconds until spawn here. But if they lose this fight, if they mess this up, if they botch this, if Pays dies first in the fight, or Faker isn't able to find an angle, QMDRX, I think, take the lead if they win this fight. It's a pretty crazy potential turning point here.
Yeah, especially if Rich is able to get a lot done. He teleports in now as T1 are looking to engage. Beatrop not doing too much of anything at all, as Lazyfield will get a bit of a whimsy shield. Willa on a flank angle. Yukal here towards the bottom lane, just trying to get some tempo where they can. Lazyfield down to 50% against Faker, though, and that is not a great trade here for QMDRX. T1 might be able to use that in order to take this dragon. So it would be their second Chemtech of this game.
This is before IE. I don't know if T1 need to hard force here, but if they can find the right angle with that Emperor's Divide, it's absolutely a winnable fight.
Well, there's the flash, cease and assist. Shockwave comes in as well. The Encore does absolutely nothing as in goes Ona just to rejoin the rest of his team. As out they will go. There's a Condemn onto Willa just to push him back towards T1. And they are pushing forward still. No one dead on either side, but so many buttons now on cooldown. As Faker says, I've got the Empress Divide, picks off the 80 carry, and down goes the Yunara. QMDRX without their machine gun are not going to be able to do anything here in this fight, and that should be Dragon number 2 to T1.
The target selection was decisive, but the target was too far away. They got Pays there. They could not follow up enough, and so many tools were used. And then QMDRX just ran away. Like, they were like, oh, we almost got him. Guess we'll leave. And they concede all control to T1. So look at this. Follow-up. Where is it? See the knock-up here from the Wild Growth. Still, Lazyfield's at half health. Cannot actually do the follow-up damage. And now you have a Wild Growth Vi. So you're not going to be able to empower Lazyfield for the turn. And then this follow-up here. Lazybill's like, all right, let's see if we can layer damage on the door, and oops, a little bit too far forward, get caught by Faker's flash shuffle divide.
And he would have killed Yukal as well if Yukal hadn't flashed it.
And like, that's exactly what I was saying with Faker in this fight. You know, if he just Emperor's Divides the Yunara, that's probably just all she wrote for the fight. But the way he did it was stylish, to say the least.
Pretty slick. That's why he's the GOAT, ladies and gentlemen. As Doran here just cleans up some minions towards the bottom side. Rich is down there once again. Probably wishes he wasn't, but still that number is 500. As Wolf said, if it stays that way, then Rich is going to be much happier.
It's getting better for him. It's not getting better for Lazyfield, is the concern I have. As Lazyfield has tried for a lot of all-ins, and they have all failed. Now IE is done for Pays, by the way. Well, didn't have it in the last fight, which is why that was such a critical timing for QMDRX. And as you can see with Lazyfield, he is significantly further behind in his build of said item, and may not actually see the light of day in any relevant team fight in this game.
Oh, Rich actually moving down here. Does have Willa backing him up. Ona and Doran moving on over. That is going to be some vision placed down. Next Dragon, 3.5 minutes. The Baron still up and available. Has been for 5 minutes. Looks like no one's really concerned about heading towards that one just yet. As finally Rich does hit that level 16. He's actually not too far behind as far as experience is concerned. Sort of lurking around the minions as they die.
Not too bad. He does not have his second item, which is really painful. But again, he's just kind of a W button. And ideally with empowered W.
Yeah, and a flash, I think, is probably what he's going to require.
So let's see if they can get the follow-up on the Pays this time. Last time, the engage was great. Wild Growth follow-up was great, but Lazyfield wasn't able to press their right-click, basically, on Pays. Maybe this time around, with this Hail Mary, 4,000 gold behind, the dream of keeping this series alive and having our first 6-game day of LCK 2026 could happen, but right now I've got to get my telescope out to see the angle. I'm looking at through my telescope with binoculars, and I have a magnifying glass on top of the binoculars, but I can see a faint angle here for QMDRX.
I think a man with a protractor would also struggle to find an angle on this one, Wolf. This is a difficulty. Even though, as I say, that 3,500 gold, not exactly crazy at 26 minutes. So maybe all you need is a protractor, and hopefully QMDRX have one in order to deliver us the longest day of the season so far. FaZe will be clearing out these minions, and T1 still just trying to get their ducks in a row. 2 minutes on this streak.
A pretty risky Baron from T1 in game 1. You know, QMDRX definitely keeping on the cards that something like that could be something that causes T1 to make a mistake. Speaking of mistakes, is Doran overextended?
Assist does come on through there. Wild Growth as well is going to capitalize as the arrow is going to sail through Doran. He flashes the shockwave, though. He was really waiting for that one.
He used
some value out of that button.
3 ultimates to almost kill Doran.
Yeah.
That's not efficient. But there's 90 seconds until the Dragon's up, but T1 might see an opportunity here, as Vayne's flash is less valuable than all of those buttons if they could do the Baron right now before the Dragon spawns. Doran doesn't have TP, but he's going to back and head back over. Instead of starting the Baron, though, T1 are just going to clear these waves out, try to maintain prio on the top side of the map as then they rotate in to challenge for this Dragon. Crazy how it still feels like there is that one angle, that one chance for QM in this game.
I mean, their composition should be able to teamfight pretty effectively.
Yeah.
Like Rich going in, having a Wild Growth as well as his stun would be a lot of value, as Hex Optics done here for Lazyfield.
Yeah,
would have liked to see an Infinity Edge, but
going for that set of IE.
Probably just because he could afford it.
Yeah.
Might be like, let's get whatever item spike we can find, see whether we can fight for this Dragon.
I mean, if he wins the team fight, and get an IE right afterwards, because he's going to be cleaning it up and getting a multi-kill.
That's true. And if he kills Fakey, you know, that's a whole bunch of extra money.
That's a lot of money.
His shutdown... shutdowns could actually go a long way if QMDRX. Still, Rich blast cones his way towards Doran.
Lazyfield 3,000 gold behind nearly. Oh, that's not true. That tricked me, that total gold graph. It's 2.2 thousand behind.
2.2 is still a decently large number, as this turret just completely goes out entirely, and the flash not being up is a big deal, as it turns out, because Rich is able to grab himself his first kill of the game. Shockwave is flashed there by Ono, tries to blast cone his way out. The Encore does nothing at all, as Lazyfield should be able to pick up the kill onto Ono. That's his first kill, as T1, they were trying to do a sneaky Baron at the same time with 2 dead. They can't do that anymore. It's an absolute disaster, and QMDRX might be able to get soul point.
I don't think T1 were on the same page. Maybe they weren't on the same book as to what everyone was trying to do at that moment, as Doran's dying. They're trying to do Baron. Ono doesn't have ult.
They were all playing 3 different games at once.
I don't know what the thought process there was. A 3-ring circus, I suppose.
Well, Rich is going to be delivered to the turret. Slices in order to get his way out, and just stride breaks for fun. It was a little bit cute. Still, Faker is going to be able to tidy up this minion wave and at least stop that push. But
I mean,
QMDRX just take down this turret. They should be able to move over towards the Baron as well, right?
Yeah, I think they have the damage.
Ground Starfall is not available just yet.
I'm surprised they didn't actually stick the Baron. I think the Baron's more valuable than that turret, because you could just get the turret afterwards, but they were concerned about T1's Baron team fight. So Owner ults in here, but it's way too late, and now he's stuck, right? And he cannot really do anything. So they decide to make the call to start Baron. He flashes this, but Keria cannot actually keep him alive. Then he goes in here to try to extend the Encore, I guess because Keria is kind of kiting, but I don't really know. He flashed. Like, he doesn't have flash now.
Yeah.
Going to try to defend Doran with limited information, I think that part's fine. Everything else got a little bit weird for me.
Well, you can see that gold lead absolutely torn apart. And so now they're going to try and find a few angles. Willa has his GA done, though. He has an item advantage. He's 600 gold up over Ono right now. And the arrow is just going to, once again, pollute the skies of Runeterra.
Yeah, just looking like maybe a dragon check. That was a weird angle if they were trying to get Rich with that.
Yeah, it was just a sometimes you throw an arrow and just hope.
Like, what? There's no dragon to check, so I guess it was, maybe you thought Renekton was going to go in at that moment. That just looked strange.
Yeah.
Keria and crew do clear this vision up, and they have control over the Baron now. They'll control that, or clear that control ward in the pit very quickly. And now QMDRX, their worst fears are realized, right? You know, T1 is wrestling Baron control away. Pantheon's ult's back up. The Unara still doesn't have that coveted 4th item, going straight into LDR here.
There is double GA, though, on QMDRX.
That's the double GA or triple GA we saw in our previous series dive that can be the scariest. Pays is going to have to deal with a lot here.
What? Rich is 1,000 gold ahead now.
Yeah, he's just kind of been chilling over there.
And he's also, like, he's even on farm. Like, Renekton's fine.
Yeah, he's
completely fine.
They're also,
he tried to dopamine detox and he failed.
Yeah, he
started scrolling again, Wolf.
Yeah, he did. He's after the red dots.
Oh, he really is.
It's really common to relapse after a tough time locked in the lane with Vayne.
And it's, you know, for our generation, his generation, it is, you know, it's something that we grew up with. We didn't understand that we were supposed to be careful of it, you know?
Yeah, the Vayne lane, you know, it's not everyone can walk out with as a changed person.
Yeah. And so they tried, you know, it's normally pretty good, but Rich's ability to feel good about doing things on Summoner's Rift was just too strong.
There's not a whole lot of gold in this in terms of items here. 4th item is actually done for Lazyfield. He was actually going for the
Mortal Reminder
4th, so
pretty good against the Seraphine.
Yeah, frankly, pretty massive spike here for him. And he doesn't necessarily need to be doing all the big boom boom crit damage if they can kill the prio targets with their engage.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that Rich and Willow will be doing a fair bit of work themselves. The team fight just looks kind of nice for QMDRX if they get their ducks in a row. If they're able to get it done,
I think the thing they need to be willing to do, which they've had a few chances to do, but they've kind of chickened out every time, is when they clear Baron Vision like they just did one time, they need to start it and commit, like Rich is TPing in if T1 come for the contest and look for a turn off of it. Because otherwise T1 is just like calling you on your bluff every time. Yeah, you guys got vision, but we got wave clear and we're coming in and you guys didn't use it, so we go again.
Oh God, okay, Lazyfield is hit by an arrow, and if there wasn't an turret there and it's now gone, he would just be dead. He now has to go back to base. T1 just build as much space as they would like.
T1, they have Faker's TP. They might look to start the Baron off of this pressure. There's a little bit of vision they need to clear. And they had the Sundisk turret. I kind of thought they would have just ran straight towards it.
I think with the soul available for QMDRX, you would, if you lost a fight around the Baron, really go very far into losing the game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
At that point. So 40 seconds, T1 will be able to set up vision around this dragon. His owner is over there already. Going to be fighting Willow momentarily. Finds that Aegis just to mitigate some of it, but the trade is very even between himself and the Vi.
Yeah, if he stayed around longer, it would have started to be good for QM because UCal is there. They need to be careful about stacking up for a shockwave, as UCal is huge at this point. We're 34 minutes into this game. A shockwave onto multiple people might just be team fight winning in itself.
Yep. Rich also lying in wait. The level 19 Renekton. Level advantage over Doran.
Starting to get a little bit split here, though, and Rich might have to TP to the other side.
The arrow goes wide. Possible opportunity here as Faker goes in, then goes out. These Sand Soldiers are doing so much work. Mega Blast going gets Rich out of there, but
they're split.
Half of his health bar is also gone. He has teleport and can use that to get a big old shield to get back into this fight, but doesn't have Dominus.
They might just have to give this dragon up. They are in no position to fight for this.
6 elemental drakes killed in this game as we tick over to 35 minutes in. Level 19 done for Doran.
Rich's flank was ambitious, and Doran was just like, I found you, and now you can't do anything. And so he had to leave, and that was the end of it. Because Lazyfield was also getting pushed by Faker. Both soul laners here for T1 just won the fight before it started, and QM at least did not opt in. Because, like you're saying, you opt into a fight like this against T1 this late into the game. I think the game is just done if you do not control it, and they just did not have the angle to set up their CC.
Yep, and also the northern angle of the fight, I think Faker managed to get the ult out of Lazyfield.
Yes.
Which is why KRX couldn't actually commit to anything.
There's
After
no
that,
way.
They did not have enough damage.
Absolutely. 8 seconds and they'll be back up. He's level 16 now.
Well, UCal might not be back up at all, as Emperor's Divide is going to go through the Zonya'd up Oriana, but he's still going to go down. The Encore isn't going to find the mark here as Lazyfield trying to kite as best he can. Willa, he can't really do that though, as he does have a GA, but that is going to go down immediately. Doran going in. These Silver Bolts really starting to hurt as Faker is going to swoop on top of this Yanara to take him down. Willa is also dead. Andel's running the wrong direction. And Owner, I think, should be able to utilize the passive or just a flash in order to take him down. T1 now just looking to clean up the rest of the kills.
Yeah, T1, I mean, at this point, to choose your own adventure game, looking to just win the game off of this play. They end up getting 4 kills. They can just push towards this inhibitor and kite back to Baron afterwards. They can take this inner. They have really whatever they want to do. We're super long death timers here. Looks like they're going to do inhibitor first, maybe look for a reset and or Baron.
Yeah, UCal will be up for the defense of these Nexus turrets.
Yeah, I don't think they can
know whether it's going to be enough.
You may be right. Like, maybe the damage is just too much here on this Ashe at this
They
point.
have double AD carry as well as in goes Rich to clear up the wave. He might actually have been able to do that as he goes down to his GA. UCal goes golden once again. Faker swoops in though, looks for the angle and he finds it. Rich gonna go down as well. It's a double for Doran. Oda tanks up everything, but the rest of KRX are respawning. Do they have the wave clear, though? That's the real question. Condemn back onto Willa. He ceases and assists to get back on top of Ona and gets back onto his fountain as well. Ona going down very low. They take one Nexus turret, but the wave is now gone. As these minions are spawning, T1 really just want to finish this series here.
There's no way they can defend without UCal. They need to defend for 35 seconds. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, Carrier taking a lot of damage, though, as there's a condemn on the Lazyfield. Willa taking so much from Doran, and they dive on through. The Nexus is now exposed. He finds the last silver bullet to take down his mark, and there goes the Nexus. T1 with a 2-0, but KRX made them work for it.
They really did, and this was a very eclectic series for T1, but they got it done in the end. I think for Game 2, there was a lot to say about the patience for QMDRX. You know, they were just scaling up, looking for their opportunity, never made the all-in call to go in and lose a team fight that will lose them the game. Sure, there were a lot of all-in calls from Mr. Lazyfield to try to take out their opposition there in Carrier and Pays that just did not work, but a game that I think, with a few more mistakes from T1 or perhaps a little bit more passive play from Lazyfield early, looked like it could have been anyone's game to take. And at moments you wondered, is the team fighting power of QM's comp just too much? But it was not in the end. And that last fight on Baron, it was just too split up, and they just called to go in anyways, and they went straight onto the Encore. And then the Wild Growth on the Lazyfield didn't knock anybody up, and it was just a disaster in the end. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like a disappointing end to what could have been both of the games. Like, you know, in Game 1, they almost had that Realm Warp angle to maybe bring the game back even. They failed that, and then in Game 2, couldn't stick the landing. And T1, it's not as dominant, perhaps T1 fans would have liked for a bounce-back win over D+, but it's still a 2-0.
Yeah, and honestly, that's all that really matters. T1 really starting to hit their stride in this first round robin of LCK 2026. Obviously, they're slow starters in general, and that is sort of continuing here this year. But it's good to see Doran have a bit of a better time. Obviously, we're not super enthralled about the whole Vayne scenario, but he made things happen towards the later stages of the game, and his Rumble performance was fantastic.
This